1969, July 20. It was a Sunday. People around the world were anxiously waiting in front of the TV because they were going to watch something historic, a breathtaking incident. It was the day that the first man from the planet Earth set foot upon the moon. Also, they were able to broadcast it live to the people all over the world. Our Parkes radio telescope, situated in Canberra, Australia, acted as the medium in receiving the television signals on that day. A great amount of hard work and teamwork of thousands of people coordinated in building the great Saturn V rocket and Apollo 11 spacecraft. They conducted many experiments and were waiting for the big day. The astronauts who were assigned to land on the surface of the moon did a lot of practice with the help of simulators situated in Earth. Astronaut Michael Collins is the pilot of Apollo Command Module, and the pilot of Lunar Module is Aldrin Jr. The mission commander will be Neil Armstrong, and he will be the first man to land on moon. The historic journey began on July 16th. After having their breakfast, the astronaut crew were ready in their spacesuit for their moon voyage. On their way to the launching pad, people greeted them with great ecstasy. Cameras from all over the world flashed on them. On July 16 at 9:32 am, when the whole world watching over them, Apollo 11 took off from Cape Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Within seconds, the rocket disappeared and it came back to Earth after 8 days on July 24th, 1969. What happened in these 8 days? We will discuss everything in detail. But before that, we need to know about the spacecraft that traveled to the moon. The rocket we are seeing now is the one which was launched to the moon. There are 3 stages for this rocket. Each one carries different tasks. The one which we can see at the top is the real Apollo spacecraft. It has 3 parts. At the bottom, we can see the lunar module, and this is the part which is going to land on the moon. Just at the top of lunar module, we can see the service module. This service module is able to control the movement of the spacecraft. At the top of it, we can see the command module, and the 3 astronauts stays in this module. Above all these modules, there is a launch escape system. If any accident occurs to the rocket during the launch time, then the launch escape system will fly away with the command module and saves the lives of astronauts. As we have discussed earlier, the rocket has 3 stages. At the lower part comes stage 1, the part which launches the rocket from the ground. It takes the rocket 68 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. When it reaches there, the duty of stage 1 is completed. And because of this reason, the lower part will fall apart from the rocket and goes out. After that comes stage 2. It is in this stage the launch escape system will fall apart and goes out of the rocket. The second stage makes the rocket reach 166 km from the Earth's surface. After it reaches that height, the job of second stage comes to an end. What remains in the end is the part that orbits it around the Earth. The orbit of the spacecraft is 165 km above the Earth. Next is the movement of the spacecraft from the Earth's orbit to the Moon's orbit, which is called translunar injection. This journey takes place for 3 days, and all these days the astronauts in the cabin are busy with their works. Due to the weightlessness, the astronauts float around, but still they are busy with their works. They examine their checklists, do their daily routines, and also there are many other duties that they have to perform during this journey. They need to make sure that the spacecraft is working properly, and for this they need to make a report by taking many readings and measurements. Also, they should take exterior photographs of orbits, lunar space, etc., and also their own photographs inside the spacecraft. On July 19th, Apollo 11 started to orbit around Moon, and eventually the speed of the spacecraft decreased. It is from this position they took picture of the Earth, and during this time the distance between them and the Earth was almost 4 lakh kilometers. The astronauts Neil Armstrong and Aldrin were now in lunar module, which has got separated from the command module. The third astronaut, Collins, was still staying in the command module. As we have mentioned earlier, it is the lunar module which is going to land on the moon. The remaining two modules, that is the service module and the command module, will stay in the atmosphere itself. Now let's name the command module which is staying in the atmosphere as Columbia, and the lunar module which is going to land on the moon as Eagle. Collins, staying in Columbia, is capturing the pictures of Eagle landing on the moon. The Eagle is slowly landing to the moon. It is equipped with special motors to prevent a strong crash on the moon. The whole world felt the intensity and excitement. When it was about to land on the moon, heartbeats increased. At that time, a warning signal was heard. Eagle was not in a fully controlled state. There were no other way left but to land. Within moments, Eagle landed in the moon. History was created. Through the window of Eagle, Armstrong and Aldrin saw something that was never seen before by any human being. They saw the shadow of Eagle in the sunlight, a land where no man had stepped before, and surprisingly, in that land, they were able to see the shadow of Eagle. After some time, Armstrong opened the doors of the lunar module and he made his way down the ladder. Armstrong stepped off the ladder and planted his foot on the moon's surface. At that particular moment, Armstrong was afraid because nobody in the world have done this earlier, and nobody knows exactly about the soil in the moon. We only knew that the gravity was only 1/6 of that of the Earth, and nobody knows beyond that. Hence, it became a history, a marvelous history, that a man could imprint his footprints on the moon. It's an achievement that a human being had never been able to make it before. Here goes Neil Armstrong, an American astronaut who became the first person to walk on the surface of the moon in the year 1969. The next aim of Armstrong was to take a gift from moon to Earth, that is, rock samples from moon. In the course of this action too, Armstrong was well aware that Eagle should be ready for an emergency takeoff at any time, because anything can happen at any time. At that moment, the second man, Aldrin, stepped on the surface of the moon. He was carrying a kit that weighed 124 kilograms on Earth, but on moon it weighed less than 30 kilograms. Both the astronauts were well aware that they will not be able to stay on the moon so long. As there is no atmosphere on the moon, they will be exposed to high solar radiation and solar wind. Even their space suits won't be able to withstand it. That's the reason why they had to finish their work so quickly and intended to get back to Eagle as early as possible. Then they set up an American flag. They knew that the flag will droop down because of the absence of atmosphere on the moon. So to avoid drooping, they hoisted the flag on strong rods. The flags were already attached to the rods from Earth itself, and when they reached the moon, it had a slight bend. Along with the flag, they had also placed some medals too. Many lives were lost due to trainings, tests, and experimentations during the journey to the moon. These medals and flag were a commemoration to those who lost their lives behind this mission. As we all know about the space war that happened between America and Soviet Union, but still they had placed medals for lost lives of Soviet Union heroes. Through television, the whole world has been watching the movements of the astronauts on the moon. As there is no wind on the moon, the footprints created by them will last for ages. They also placed seismometer on moon. With the help of this instrument, we will be able to identify the different kinds of movements on the moon, such as movements associated with meteorites falling on the moon and all. Other than this, they have placed laser reflectors on moon. If a powerful laser beam from Earth is projected to this laser on moon, then it will reflect back to Earth. Hence, we will be able to measure the distance from the moon to Earth very accurately. After spending 2 hours 31 minutes on the surface of moon, they came back to Eagle, and they had spent their whole night in Eagle. The next morning, they took off from the moon. There is no need for such a powerful rocket on moon as the gravitational force is low. On July 21, Eagle combines with the mothership Columbia. Once again, they were able to see that beautiful scene. The Earth rises on the horizon of the moon. The beautiful Earth was dazzling in blue. On July 24, they returned to the Pacific Ocean. They were later lifted out of the Pacific Ocean using a helicopter. On July 27, the 3 astronauts came back to the place where they started their journey. The whole country welcomed them with great joy. The next 3 weeks, all the 3 astronauts were quarantined and they underwent different kinds of medical tests. Scientists from different parts of the world studied the rock samples collected from the moon. With the help of these studies, we were able to calculate the age of moon and also the elements present in it. In 2024, man is going to moon again. This time, our mission is not to collect the rock samples, but to create a colony on moon. And Mission Artemis is the beginning of it.
Want to join us on our journey to the greatest mysteries and sensational discoveries? Then subscribe to Bright Keralite English and never miss any of our videos in the future. Remember to give our posters a thumbs up to show us that we keep you engaged with our content.